applause, warm welcome for Lee Dohm.
I've been a professional developer for 20 years this month, but that's not really what I'm here to talk about. I'm the moderator for Discuss, the official Atom message board. I've been the moderator since March of 2014, very soon after the Atom beta was released. I believe the Atom beta was released in late February 26th or 27th, and I became the moderator like March 7th. My first message board was one phone line BBS in the early 1990s. I've been moderating message boards of one type or another for that long, but that's not really what I'm here to talk about either. I'm here to talk about community. So, how does one build a community? Humans are naturally social creatures. So there's really just a couple of simple rules. And as Scott Kurtz from PvP Comic would say, everything's funnier with monkeys. The rules are essentially just don't drive people away, and don't let others drive people away. And community will just kind of happen on its own. But how do we avoid driving people away, and how do we convince others to stop from driving people away? Many people see forums as an opportunity to do battle, right? Just come in to attack. Others only see forums as a place to vent their frustrations, like the blue guy there. So what we want to do is we want to create a place where encouragement is the primary topic. So how do we encourage people to work together as a community? But before we get to that, I have a metaphor I use. So, like many people my age, I grew up with Kung Fu movies. They were on Sunday mornings, all morning, like 8 to noon. So I watched them all the time, and I just couldn't wait to be old enough to do it myself. So when I got older, I studied 2 different martial arts. And let me tell you, they were very different from each other. The first was Kenpo Karate. And Kenpo Karate is very aggressive. The whole point of it is to disable, to maim, to destroy your opponent, literally prevent them from ever being able to attack you again. And that's pretty much the way most people come to message boards. They're there to destroy. So on the second week of attending Kenpo Karate class, we actually learned a maneuver literally called the leap of death. Somebody tries to attack you, you break their arm, throw them to the ground, jump on them with your heels in their kidneys, and if that's not enough to kill them, you rabbit punch them in the back of the head, smash their face into the ground, and you spit on them as you walk away. Technically, it's called closing out, but we just called it spitting. Aikido, on the other hand, is a very defensive martial art. It's about recognizing and redirecting the flow of energy. It's about partnering. Now, they really do make you call someone a partner rather than an attacker or an opponent in Aikido. It's a philosophy. It's about getting them to see that violence against you is futile. So how do we redirect people to more productive conversations? Well, the way I like to think about it is conversational Aikido. Aikido boils down to conflict, awareness, blending, and resolution. So I'm going to talk about how I use this flow when dealing with challenging situations on the message board. So the first step is conflict. What you really need to do is you need to recognize, is there a difference of opinion? Just because people are energetic, doesn't necessarily mean that there's actually a conflict. Aikido is about awareness. Sometimes people just argue, even when they're agreeing. So you must recognize and understand before you can possibly hope to act correctly. And you do that through awareness. You listen. You strive to understand. Not just the issue at hand, but the people behind it. And then, once you've achieved awareness, you blend. It's called blending. And this is really the heart of Aikido. You first move out of the line of fire. If they're trying to stab you, don't be so rude as to stand in their way. Just, as Mr. Miyagi would say, the best defense is to not be there. So once you're out of the line of fire, take their side. If you're behind them, they can't attack you. So respectfully and sincerely, and that's the key, sincerely agree. You can almost always find common ground. I understand that. I know it's frustrating when. And add pieces to the conversation, not remove them. As Samuel L. Jackson said in the movie The Negotiator, no takes away options. You never want to say no to a hostage taker. Never say no, can't, won't, or shouldn't. So have you thought about, or what would you think of? Add to the conversation, not remove them. Because resolution, the final step in Aikido, discussions don't have to be zero-sum games. I really dislike how win-win takes such a beautiful concept and makes it a marketing thing. But what if talking is the problem? Sometimes you're the problem. Sometimes I'm the problem. We get burnt, we get stressed, so just put down the keyboard and nobody gets hurt. Rarely is any subject so important that it requires your response. Ones that do require it don't require it immediately. So, but sometimes other people are the problem. And I learned this one little trick. It's a management technique called extinction. Now, it's important to know that it's a strategy for eliminating undesirable behavior. Undesirable behavior, patterns that are negative, but otherwise it's a salvageable situation. So, once again, it's undesirable behavior, not problematic behavior. We'll get to trolls in a minute. Extinction is about stop talking. There's a reason it's called an uncomfortable silence. It makes people uncomfortable. It lets them know that their behavior isn't appropriate without publicly shaming them, thus discouraging the behavior. And so you just don't respond to argumentative speech. Most people, not trolls, will get the hint. So how do we recognize trolls? Well, the people that intentionally don't get it, how we can recognize that intent, separate from honest actors, is trolls have common features. They're disrespectful. They attack the people, not the idea. Anybody who thinks that is stupid, you're a jerk, go away, you should just die. They're inflexible. They refuse to acknowledge conflicting information. They simply will not even entertain the possibility that they're wrong. They're argumentative and demanding. Why is Adam so slow? Why CoffeeScript? Why less? Justify yourself to me, little man. And they defend all of this with free speech, or others are too sensitive. No, really, if you're unable to stop yourself from hurting people, we have words for that. So how do you deal with trolls? As a user, unfortunately, your options are limited. You can notify the administrators or walk away. But you should, and have the right to expect, that as a moderator, like me, step one, call out the behavior and make it clear that your interpretation as a moderator of that behavior is not up for debate. Because trolls are great at arguing. Not going to argue it. It's wrong. Done. Step two, issue a warning. And finally, if that doesn't work, ban them. Period. No second warning, no discussion, no debate. I've already told you it's wrong. Move on. You can't expect things to get better if there aren't consequences for negative actions. You'll more than make up for the tiny minority you lose with the membership and participation, especially, that you gain from having a safe and supportive forum. Because what's the most important thing? It's the community. Not the moderator, not any individual member or clique of members. It's the community. In other words, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one. Thanks.